we move on to the next chaupai. राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. Having the essence of Ram within, may you always serve Rama, Raghupati Rama. Rasa can be understood as essence. Ras, Ram Ram Ras, Piyore Manva. The ras here is also referring to nectar. So we can combine both and say nectarine essence of Rama is within you. Ma Sita is telling to Hanuman after bestowing him with Ashtasiddhi and Navnidhi. Here, Ram Rasa in the nectarine essence, being. The bee is the essence, the secret in this chaupai. You may never be. First part says you are the essence of Rama. Essence of Rama in the true sense of Rama or God or Ishvara or Brahman. And then when it comes to the same Ishvara, same Brahman in form as Sri Rama here or Sri Krishna, Sri Sai, whichever deity, whichever God, when it comes to the Lord descending with form, there Ma Sita says, you ever be the humble servant of the God. When the God incarnates, God is worshipped in form. And at the same time, both this state of being, the state of pure being, pure existence, Sat or Satyam, or the state of being the true servant of Lord in Dasya Bhava. Both state is possible for the same sadhaka in his same life, and ultimately we will see and we will understand initially how they are two different, totally different dimensions. One is through the wisdom, one is through in the path of devotion, and we will conclude by seeing how both are actually the same. There is no difference in that state in that transcendental state. The be is the essence. It doesn't say you had become the essence of Sri Rama. It doesn't say you were the essence of Rama. It doesn't say you will be the essence of Rama. Sita says you are the essence of Rama. Rama rasayana tumhare pasa. You are this present state, present being. Every moment is present. That means eternal state. eternal state of being, eternal, pure, true existence. This was covered in a small talk posted in the WhatsApp group. You might have all forgotten, where it's a small part of today's talk, where Sundar explains through that poem as to how Swami takes him, lifts him from one stage to the other stage to the next, to the ultimate stage, where he says this poem initially: make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. There is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. After allowing him to say this, make me, for few days or few years, then Swami corrects him. Don't command the Lord and say, make me. Be humble and say, here Dasya Bhava comes in a subtle manner. And he says, tell him, and pray to Lord and say, may I be the instrument. May I be the instrument of thy peace. May I. After allowing him to continue in this may I reverential Dasya Bhava for a while, in a private chamber in Kodai session with students, when Sundar repeats the same as per the command of the Lord and says, may I. And now the last revelation has to come from Almighty. He says, why you are begging, Lord? May I, as if you are different from Lord. Say, I am your instrument of Lord. Where there is hatred, I shall sow love. This I am. The state of evolvement from make me to may I to I am. The last stage of I am is that Rama Rasayan, is the state of being, pure being, existence. I am. And this I am is ever, every second, every moment it is I am. For the week, for the month, for the year, for a decade, till we breathe our last, it is I am. That is why it is called eternal. Eternal, this I am. Every second I am. Eternal existence, pure existence. So let us see this I am in its absolute sense in the path of wisdom, pure existence, Sat. Let us go through a journey through Mother Shruti, through Upanishads, and dive into this state of being Rama Rasayan in the true essence of Rama as Brahman. What does that Brahman do as his Guru sang? बार बार तुम जग में आए, तुम राम बने, तुम कृष्ण बने, तुम शंकर बन के आए. Okay. Bar, who comes? That Brahman comes as Rama. So Rama, retraced the true essence of Rama is that Brahman. Chandogya Upanishad says Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asid Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Existence alone was there in the beginning, one alone without a second. Brahman is that which is permanent in things that change. It is without name and form, which two are the characteristics nature of the world. What are the characteristic natures? Name and form. And Brahman has no form, no name, changeless. That is why it is Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Since it is changeless, it is one without a second. Or since it is one without a second, it is changeless. Put it either way. Existence. We are now focusing on that state of being, existence, being. Rama Rasayana. Existence can never change, never perish, though things in which also it is perish. Hence, existence is the nature of reality and is different from the things of form and name. Existence is secondless and has no external relations or internal differentiations. It is unlimited by space, time, individuality. Anantam. Existence is Anantam. The state of being, Rama Rasayana, is Anantam. It has nothing similar to it, nothing dissimilar, for there is no comparison possible to say there is something similar to it or there is something dissimilar to it, because there is nothing other than that Ekam Eva Advitiyam. There is nothing else apart from that. The whole universe is a spiritual unity and is one with the essential being, that is Brahman. Brahman is existence, which is infinite consciousness of the nature of bliss. Taittiriya Upanishad, as we all know, roared, Brahman is existence, consciousness, infinitude, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the verses says, Brahman is consciousness, bliss. Chandogya Upanishad, in another chapter, says, that which is infinitude is bliss and immortality. We read of Sanat Kumara leading the thought of Narada from inadequate conceptions of truth to more adequate conceptions, until at last he asserts the supremacy of the Bhuma, Brahman, Bhuma, the absolutely great, unlimited, beyond which there is nothing. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that Brahman has two forms, the formed and the formless, the mortal and the immortal, the existent and the moving, the real and the beyond. There is a contrast between Brahman and the name and form world, the former being the beyond, the inexpressible, the foundationless, the unconscious, the unreal, in relation to the latter, which is empirically experienced as the being, expressible, founded, conscious, real, etc. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad itself, the word Satyam, we are talking about existence, being. Rama Rasa in essence of Rama being. Okay, you always keep it aligned to that. The word Satyam is explained as constituting the three syllables as Sa, Ti and Yam. The first and the last syllables being truth, Sa and Yam being truth, and the middle one untruth. Thus, truth covering the untruth from both sides, and the unreal world acquires the semblance of truth by being within the truth, which is incorruptible being. And further, truth is alone is said to triumph, not untruth, thus giving a distinct reality to what is, as contrasted from what is not. Appears to be very difficult to understand. He will explain. If it has to be easily understood, it has to be understood this way. The world, this objective world, is covered on both sides or on all sides by truth, pure existence, Brahman. Purusham evedagam sarvam. And as though imaginatively the creation is hanging in the middle, covered by truth on all sides. So, being covered by truth, the untruth, the unreal world, mithya, the world, Jagat Mithya, it thinks itself to be real because it is enveloped by the real true existence. This comfortably, the creation and all of us, we exist as a mithya, as an unreal existence, objective existence. But since we are enveloped by the true existence all around, we end up thinking that our unreal mithya, our apparent objective existence, ephemeral existence, to be true, to be eternal. Now clear? Okay. Another Upanishad says that the Brahman is one and limitless, limitless to the east, limitless to the south, limitless to the west, limitless to the north, limitless to above and below, limitless everywhere. For it, directions like east, etc. do not exist. Neither above, below, etc. exist. This Paramatman is incomprehensible, infinite, unborn, not to be reasoned out. Such a one has to be Rama Rasayan, that has to be true essence of Rama, true essence being. It cannot be a non-being. It is existence in its greatest completeness. Extreme and intense existence appears as non-existence. The extreme of positivity of the real appears as a negation of everything. It is dark due to the excess of light. It is imperceptible, for it alone is the perceiver. It is unknowable, for it alone is the knower. It appears to be nowhere because It is alone is everywhere. It appears to be nothing, for it alone is everything. While what has been given till now is on the be, the state of true being in the context of the true essence, Ram Rasayan, true essence of God, that is Brahman. While it may be difficult for few of you to experience, difficult for few of you even to understand, let him try to explain in a more easier manner. He presumes this is an easier manner, at least for understanding purpose. Experiencing is an intense, long process. True existence, eternal existence, being or being, or the essence, true essence of the true Rama, true formless, attributeless Rama, that is Brahman, is the following. It is that which exists in the past, present, and future. It is that the true essence is that which has no beginning, no middle, no end. The true essence is that which is unchanging, which is not conditioned in time, space, and causation. The true essence is that which exists during the three states of consciousness, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. The true nature of this true existence is one homogeneous essence. Now, if you have understood that, you are supposed to understand at least this part. Let us validate the above as a sadhaka, experiencing all this within himself or herself, or as a sadhaka, observing his or her acharya in this state which validates all the above. Suppose on a blessed day, blessed moment, with Guru's guidance and God's grace, suppose any of you have experienced that momentless moment, that experience beyond any experience of object through your mind, or at least observed your Guru in a transcendental state or in a samadhi state. Any master in that state, living or not living now, one-to-one or in any video, then you can relate that state easily as that state which is definitely a state where for them, or if you have experienced this even for a few seconds, then it is that state where there is no past, present, future in that state. There is no beginning, middle, and end in that state. For that state, there is no change, possibility of any change. It doesn't undergo any change. It doesn't ever get conditioned in time space causation. And definitely the state is the same in all the three states of consciousness. At least you can relate this now in out of your own experience or out of a master's experience which you have seen, observed. That state is Sada Ekarasa Sada Ekarupa, as Shivanandaji Maharaj says. One homogeneous essence. This was the first absolute part of the actual real essence of the real Rama in his formless, attributeless, changeless nature as Brahman. Now, immediately let us change to the enchanting Jaya Jaya Mohana Rama. We sing, the enchanting Rama, and place ourselves in the place of Hanuman. Sada Raho Raghupati ke Dasa. Let us imagine Hanuman as the true Dasa of Rama, or let us visualize ourselves as true Dasa of Sai, or our chosen God. Irrespective of where sadhaka or bhakta is in the spiritual path, as a beginner, as an evolved, as a most evolved, or even as a realized seer, yet effortlessly, naturally, the sadhaka or the seer has to ever exist as a true, humble servant of the Lord. Sage from the Ananda Kutir says, to serve God and carry out His wishes, realizing His virtues, nature, mystery, and glory, considering oneself as the servant of God, is Dasya Bhakti. Serving and worshipping the murtis in temples, sleeping in temples, meditating on God, mentally serving Him like a dasa, serving the saints and the sages, serving the devotees of God, serving poor and sick people who are forms of God, are all also included in Dasya Bhakti. Not only that, to follow, here Bhakti and Jnana gets aligned, to follow the words of scriptures, to act according to the injunctions of the Vedas, considering them to be direct words of God, is also Dasya Bhakti. Association with and service of love intoxicating devotees, gurus, and service of those who have knowledge and experience of God is also Dasya Bhakti. The purpose behind Dasya Bhakti is to be ever with God in order to offer services to Him and win His divine grace and thereby attain immortality. Arjuna prays with the sentiment of a servant and a disciple in order to get the grace of God. O Lord, Arjuna says, I am your disciple. I have taken refuge in you. Teach me. This should be the bhava of a bhakta. He should completely give himself up to God and should not retain any personal reservations with him. Ananya Bhakti is total relinquishment of the self to God. Lakshmana, Hanuman, Angada they all cultivated this Dasya Bhakti. Lakshmana sometimes could not even speak to Rama in his extreme love for Rama and feeling that humility in front of Rama. Hanuman, the subject of this chaupai being Hanuman, Sada Raho Raghupati Ke Dasa, Hanuman is a towering example of divine seva to the Lord. This has been covered in various previous other verses also. How he used to serve Rama during the war period. Recollect, this has been elaborately dealt with. He spent his whole life in serving Lord Rama. Angada did not want to leave Rama even at the latter's request and prayed to Lord Rama that he would serve him at all times and that he would do even the most menial of services for the sake of Lord Rama. These devotees were of exceptional type and it is very difficult to develop such a bhakti as was possessed by Lakshmana, Angada and Raghupati Ke Dasa, Hanuman. The heart has to be purified. The mind has to be thinned out. Desires have to be annihilated. It is then that the devotee feels his real love for God. Before such a purification, the love of God becomes colored with earthliness and does not bear the expected fruit. Total surrender is the ideal of Dasya Bhakti. The Dasa or the servant loses nothing but gains everything through the service of God, either in his transcendental or his immanent aspect. This is the lesson one must take home from this expression, Sada Raho Raghupati Ke Dasa. And our prayer should be Sada Rahe Sai Ke Dasa. Even if your Guru, even if God teaches you, me and you are alone, me and you are one, and you may even realize that you and God are one, yet you have to remain at the feet of your God or your Guru always. Though the beautiful part is that though these two dimensions of true being, of the true essence Rama, the being Sat covered in the part A, and the true servant of the Lord covered in the part B, appear to be poles apart, this difference is only as long as we do not exist as any one of these two dimensions, 100%, not 99.99%. All duality, all sankalpa, vikalpa, all doubts, everything is only up to the point of realization in bhakti or jnana. When you exist as the true dasa of God as per part B, in that state also, you validate all the nature described of the one who exists as true essence Sat. Even if when you exist 100% as the true dasa, true servant of God, you exist beyond the time space. Your existence is the same in all the three states of consciousness. That existence has no beginning, no end, nothing. So you validate all the nature of existence as pure Sat, pure being covered in the part A. And when you exist as pure being, part A, pure existence, in that state, without coming down an inch from that state, you easily melt at any given time on taking the name of your Guru, your God, and you fall at their feet in utter humility. Both the dimensions then merge into one state, and that state which transcends both the dimensions, which cannot be expressed in any language of the world. राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. और हम सदा रहें, कैसे? सदा रहें साई के दास. How beautiful. राम धूत राम भक्त हनुमान जी की जय. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. सीता माता की जय. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा की जय.